to my kings, queens, and in-betweens. I'm Valerie, and welcome to my channel, The Bookish Valkyrie. So I am starting another chaos vlog today. I have decided that that is what all of my vlogs are going to be from now on, because I start these things not knowing exactly what I'm doing. Like, even if I have a plan, that plan never seems to work out. I just live in a state of reading chaos. So I'm going to start off this vlog with going over everything that is in my current reads list from Storygraph. So there's a lot. We'll start with the one that I am the closest to finishing, and that is This Inevitable Ruin by Matt Dinniman. This is the 7th book in the Dungeon Crawler Carl series, and the last published book so far. I have been reading this for like a month now, but it's been backburnered by a lot of things like the Trans Rights Readathon and just my mood reads in general. I am pretty sure I'm going to finish this one tonight. So far it has been the most chaotic what the fuck book in the series. Like, I mean, aside from the first book. The first book was pretty crazy too. But that one was setting up a really crazy situation to begin with. So hard to compete. Anyway, things have gone off the rails again and again and again and again in this series and in this particular book. It's just been a crazy ride, and I have no idea what's going to happen in the next, like, hour and a half that I have left in this book, in this audiobook, but we'll see how it goes. So I have started a reread of the Boys Run the Riot manga series. It is a 4-volume series, and it features a trans boy and his friend from high school. And they are launching their own fashion line, and it focuses on how fashion can be an expression of yourself and can be a way for you to define yourself for yourself. I really love this series. I love the friendships in this series, and I'm so excited to be doing a reread of it. And I have started reading Keep Me Close by R.M. Virtues. It is the second book in the Gods of Hunger series, which starts with Drag Me Up, which I read last year. Drag Me Up was about Hades and Persephone, and this book, I believe, is about Aphrodite and Hephaestus. And so far, I am enjoying it. They are contentious co-workers, I guess, would be the closest analogy, or contentious allies. They are both in their own right leaders of Chaos Falls. Hephaestus is the head of basically all of the security that is happening in Chaos Falls, and Aphrodite is in charge of the Pleasure District, and together they are working on shutting down human trafficking and rescuing people from human trafficking. So definitely not a low stakes kind of story. And then I have 2 audiobooks that I have started. One is Dead Girls Don't Dream by Nino Cipri. It is definitely something in my wheelhouse of things that I'm going to really enjoy. And it is a YA horror story featuring 2 sisters. I'm only in the first couple of chapters, and I really don't remember the summary because I read the summary like sometime last year. I know that there is a wishing tree that can only be found under certain circumstances at certain times, and they have just found it. So who knows? I'm guessing it's going to be something to do with be careful what you wish for. I know that I love everything that I have read from Nino Cipri so far, and I've enjoyed the couple of chapters that I've read in this book. However, that read got a little derailed by the next audiobook that I started, which is The Court of Wanderers, which is book 2 in the Silver Under Nightfall series, or duology. And that happened because I rewatched Vampire Hunter D and Vampire Hunter D Bloodlust with my roommate the other day, and that got me in the mood to read something with vampires. So I don't know when I'm going to get back to Dead Girls Don't Dream because I am such a mood reader. I may pick it up as soon as I finish The Court of Wanderers, but I don't know. We'll see. And then going into The Court of Wanderers, I am probably about a fourth of the way into the book. We've had a major confrontation, and I'm starting to get a feel for the shape of where this story is going, or where I think this story is going. And I'm so happy to be back with our throuple. They are wonderful. It makes me giggle. Their banter is bantering, and I just love their dynamic. It's so good. Very much enjoying that read. I'm not sad at all that I picked that up. I'm just a little bit sad that it interrupted my Dead Girls Don't Dream read. But I think I may actually restart Dead Girls Don't Dream when I do pick that one back up. I don't know how many of these I'm going to finish this week. I don't know how many of these I'm going to get to, or if I'm going to add more books to my currently reading list, hence the chaos vlog of it all. But that's where we're starting, and I'll check in again with you soon. Hello, it is Wednesday night, and I just finished reading the... Hi. I just finished reading the Dungeon Crawler Kaale book. It is pretty epic. Like, a lot happened throughout the entire book, but that last little bit was just like jam-packed with all kinds of things that happened. Like, I don't even know if I'll be able to remember everything that happened by the time the next book comes back. I'm actually fairly certain I will forget and be surprised when the consequences of the things that happened come up in the next book. I'll be like, oh yeah, I forgot. This series is full of oh yeah, I forgot moments. And Thor has put himself on neighborhood watch. Those curtains are perpetually split so that he and the other animals can watch the neighborhood. This is the dog chair. Steve and I do sit in it, but anybody who sits in that chair needs to understand that they will be swarmed by animals. None of that has anything to do with Dungeon Crawler Kaale. All right, so finished This Inevitable Ruin, the most recent release in the Dungeon Crawler Kaale series. And since this is the 7th book in the series, I can't really tell you anything about it without giving major spoilers. Like, it's hard to talk about the first book without giving major spoilers. So we'll just say it's crazy. So many things happen in it. This is possibly the most event-filled book in the series. I don't know. We'll see. But there were several reveals of what's been going on behind the scenes. There were several characters that you meet that you did not expect to be able to meet. At least I didn't see this coming until like it happened. This is definitely my favorite book, which is kind of funny because I generally really hate war books. This is the book that is based on the faction wars level in the dungeon, and that's not really a spoiler because you know that's coming from the first book. I won't really go into what faction wars is, but suffice it to say there's a war going on in this level, and everybody is swept up in it, obviously, because how would they not be? But yeah, it's crazy. Like I said, I generally really dislike books and stories that are based on or around wars, but this one worked for me. It really worked for me. I don't know. I keep saying that the most current book is my favorite book in the series, and except for the train one, I didn't love that one. But the rest, I don't know. Okay, I am babbling nonsensically, so I am going to say goodnight for now, and unless I finish reading something tonight, I probably won't check in again until like tomorrow or so. Anyway, see you later.
You're sick of my madness. Don't you tell me what I supposed to do. You're better off without me. Don't you tell me what I supposed to do. When I'm walking on the streets half naked, it's part of me, it's part of me. When I'm making my brain makeup, it's part of me, it's part of me. When you're crushing on my dreams and you're making me so full, get out of my life. I know what I'm supposed to do. When you're crushing on my dreams and you're making me so full, I know what I'm supposed to do. I know what I'm supposed to do. Supposed to do.
Hello, it is Thursday and I haven't done near as much as I thought I would, either reading wise or life wise. It's been a very high pain kind of day for me, so my hands have not been terribly useful. But I did manage to finish reading Boys Run the Riot last night. Or at least I finished the first volume in Boys Run the Riot last night. This is the volume where our core two friends initially get together and decide to start a brand. And then they start roping in other people, other friends. They get a photographer friend. And you kind of like see his story as well. And the brand name Boys Run the Riot is figured out. It definitely kind of broaches the idea of facing things head on and starting to push back against the societal boundaries that keep you from realizing your true self, or even giving yourself room to know who that is. So I finished reading that. I don't know if I'm going to continue reading this series right now or if I'm going to pick up the next volume in a little bit. But I did get farther into The Court of Wanderers, and I've got about a third of the book left to go. I, again, am just really enjoying being with these characters. The overarching story is fun and entertaining, and getting to get a deeper look into the inner workings of the Court of the Vampires is interesting. I'm not sure where this is leading. Like, I know this is supposed to be a duology, but I'm not sure what, like, the final outcome of the overarching story is going to be. Like, I don't understand where this is heading, but I think it's probably going to be one of those books where this last section is going to have a lot of plot points, a much faster pace of plot points occurring, and I don't know, at least it needs to. There seems to be a lot of unresolved things, and again, I'm 2/3 of the way in, so things should not be resolved, but usually by the time I hit this point in a story, I at least have an idea for, or a feel for, the outline of what the outcome is going to be, or what the outcome might be, or something. But at this point, I just don't know where this story is really going. I'm sure I'm going to feel really stupid by the time I get to the end of it. I'll be like, oh, how did I miss all of that? But right now, I don't know, I'm just enjoying the ride. Remy and his vampire lovers are just really good company. And so I'm enjoying that. I think I probably, before I pick up another physical book, I probably will keep reading my RM Virtues book. But like I said, it's been a high pain day, and so even holding my phone hasn't really been a thing that I've been comfortable doing. So I don't know when I will get around to actually reading anything with my eyes. Maybe by tomorrow I'll be feeling better. We'll see. Maybe I will download it to my iPad and set it up to read that way so I can read it hands free. I don't know. But that also requires sitting like at a table, and that hurts my hips. You know, chronic pain is just a good time. So that is it for this update, and I will check in again with you later. Okay. I love you too. Okay, let me turn that off. Ah! Stop. Hello, it is Friday, and I wanted to do a quick update because I just finished The Court of Wanderers. So I was correct, and it really did pick up. All of the groundwork was indeed laid out in the first 2/3 of the book, and this last third just took all of those strands that you didn't see get put down and went goink and pulled them all the way through to the end, and it was fantastic. I loved it, and I absolutely loved this book. I love both books. I've been debating in my head back and forth if I like the first one or the second one better, and the answer is yes. um, I think that I like them both better in different ways. I don't know. Like, I think this might be my favorite duology ever. I loved it. I'm definitely going to have this on my list of things that I will be rereading in the future. I can't tell you how well balanced the storytelling in this book is. Like, you get all of the romance. This duology might actually be the best romantasy mix that I have seen, like the most well balanced romantasy that I have seen, because you do get all of the fantasy and all of the romance and all of the plot, all of the shenanigans, and they just meld together beautifully. Now the debate is, what am I going to do for my audio read going forward? Because Dungeon Crawler Carl is all caught up. I just finished the Silver Under Nightfall, or I guess the Reaper series. I don't know. I've seen it listed as both the Reaper series and the Silver Under Nightfall series. Regardless, I've read the duology. It's fantastic. I am so happy for it. I'll be perfectly honest with you. The way that the first book ended, I was so gutted. I was so sure that there was going to be so much more drama with the way that the first book picked up than there was, that it was such a relief. Like, oh. Okay. All right. So that happened, and now I don't remember what I was saying. All right. So Silver Under Nightfall and The Court of the Wanderers is definitely one of my top favorite duologies, if not my favorite duology, and I would say that it is my favorite romantasy ever. Oh, that's a hard one. Maybe,
2,000 years later.
So anyway, I loved that, and now I need to decide if I am going to pick Dead Girls Don't Dream by Nino Cipri back up as my new audiobook, or if I'm going to pick up Don't Let the Forest In. I already started Dead Girls Don't Dream, but Don't Let the Forest In is one that I was supposed to read for March, and honestly, I keep seeing people talk about it, and I want to watch everything that people are posting about it, but as much as I don't mind a spoiler, I also am not necessarily going to go looking for them unless I hit a snag with my book and I'm trying to decide whether or not to continue. So, like I don't know. I think that maybe what I'll do is, since I've already listened to the first chapter of Dead Girls Don't Dream, I'll listen to the first chapter of Don't Let the Forest In and see what I think about that. Like, maybe that's the way I need to go. Like a chaotic impromptu try a chapter showdown between two books. I don't know. Yeah, I think that's what I'm gonna do. So all I did today really was read The Court of Wanderers and watch YouTube and play phone games. So it's been a nothing burger of a day, and I think that even though it's like 6:30 at night, I think I'm gonna get started on some house chores because I haven't done any for the last couple days, and the house needs it. The house really needs it. So I think I'm gonna go get started on some dishes and go from there. So that means I do need to sort out what I am reading next on audio. So I will go ahead and listen to the first chapter of Don't Let the Forest In, and I'll let you know if I'm going to continue with that or if I'm going to continue with Dead Girls Don't Dream. I am thinking I'm probably going to read these back to back regardless. It's just where am I starting? So I'll be back in just a little bit. Okay, so this is a tough choice, and I think if I was gonna go with the one that has the most compelling first chapter, I would have to go with Dead Girls Don't Dream. But I also, while I was reading these first chapters, well, finishing reading the first chapter of Dead Girls Don't Dream and reading the first chapter of Don't Let the Forest In, I remembered that I had just watched Katie Colson's wrap up, and in it she talked about Don't Let the Forest In, and she said that the way that it ended in a way that, like, it's up to you to decide how it ended, really. Like, it's up to you to decide what way things went. And so I think what I'm gonna do is, even though I find the first chapter of Dead Girls Don't Dream more compelling, and to be clear, just by like that much, because there are so many like things that were seated in that first chapter of Don't Let the Forest In, and they're both beautifully written. So I think what I'm going to do is, just because I know that Don't Let the Forest In is supposed to have an unsettled ending, I think I'm going to start with that one and then go into Dead Girls Don't Dream, because I think I might. Oh, I don't know. Fuck. Ooh. What if Don't Let the Forest In ends in an ambiguous way that makes me want to like sit and think about it, and then I'll take forever to get back to Dead Girls Don't Dream.
2,000 years later.
Okay, I think I'm gonna go with the Dead Girls Don't Dream. Yeah, okay. Dead Girls Don't Dream. Be back once I've got farther into that and or finished it, because it's pretty short. It's a little bit under 7 hours, and I listen at 1.5 speed, so I will probably have that one done tonight or early tomorrow, and then I will jump into Don't Let the Forest In. Maybe. I don't know. Depends if I end up picking up my physical read or my ebook. Who knows? But I guess you will in just a minute. it is Saturday, and I finished reading Dead Girls Don't Dream this morning, and it honestly was not at all the book I thought I was getting into, but that's probably because I completely forgot the summary. I went back and read the summary after the first chapter and realized, oh, it says it right there. This is not the book you thought you were reading. um, so basically, the main character dies in the first chapter, and you know that's going to happen because it's in the summary, and like the title, really. Uh, but the story is basically about how this dead girl and the daughter of the Witch of the Woods are trying to solve her murder, figure out why she was murdered, and where all of these disappearing people over the years have been disappearing too. And the themes that are running through this story are really heavy with the relationships between sisters and mothers, and are two different examples of really toxic mothers and an example of a very good sisterly relationship and a really, really awful sisterly relationship. And the Witch of the Woods is just an awful, awful person. There's some definite body horror going on throughout. And if you like woodsy horror, like creepy woods horror, you're probably gonna like this because we've got a grove that can only be found on certain nights by certain people and whatnot, and roots growing out of people. At one point there is a like flesh colossus, I guess you could call it, held together with roots and whatnot. So it's fun. It's a good time, and it definitely went in a direction I wasn't quite expecting at the end. I spent a good chunk of the middle of the book wondering what sort of ending this was going to be, because like Nino Sipori doesn't necessarily give you like the happiest of endings, but you usually end up with something that's at least somewhat hopeful. And I would actually say this might be the happiest ending we've got yet from this author. It's also probably the most horrifying story. So that's a fun mix for me. I love that for me. Um, I gave it 5 stars, and then I moved on to Don't Let the Forest In. I'm not sure what's happening in that one yet. But I'm having a good time trying to figure it out. So our two main characters are best friends, Thomas and Andrew. They have spent the summer separated from each other, and it's been really rough for Andrew, and I'm guessing Thomas as well. But we get most of our perspective, at least at the beginning, from Andrew. So the distractions are a little too much at the moment, and I will get back to you about Don't Let the Forest In a little bit.
What distractions?
So I am back. I was talking about Don't Let the Forest In. So basically, this story is about two best friends who go to boarding school together, and the boarding school that they go to is kind of like nestled inside of a creepy forest, and like no one's supposed to go in there. At the beginning of summer, Andrew got some garbled text messages from Thomas. He was telling him that his dad broke his phone and he wouldn't be able to text with him anytime in the near future. So the book opens up first day of school as Andrew and his twin sister Dove are getting out of the car to go back to school. Andrew is really nervous about seeing Thomas again after so long apart with no contact. And this is kind of where you start to get the understanding that Andrew is in love with his best friend, and you also get a hint at the fact that Andrew is probably not only gay but ace, or on the ace spectrum, because he's very uninterested in sex. As Andrew and Thomas see each other, Andrew is getting the feeling that something is off with Thomas, and he's not sure if it's just because they spent the summer no contact, or if something else is up, and then the police show up, and Thomas's parents are nowhere to be found, and they, for whatever reason, seem to suspect that they are dead and that Thomas is the person of interest at this time. That is where I am at with my current reads, and I will update you again later. It may not be until a few days from now because it is the weekend and I don't tend to read a lot or vlog a lot during the weekend, but we'll see. I might do some b-roll of going to see Death of a Unicorn and talk about that here because I'm really excited to watch that. And Oberon's very excited for me to watch that too. Anyway, see you next clip.
I'll be the last one left when the lights go out. I'm down to one last breath, but I can't stop now. We all fall down sometimes, yeah, but that's just life. So cross my heart and hope to die. Baby, I was born to fight the fear when I feel like dying. I'm trying to fly high, but I'm not a pilot, can't deny it. There's some days I feel idiotic, just a product of a system where you're lucky just to make a dollar. That ain't gonna stop me cause my grind's contagious. I'll do what it takes to turn passion to paychecks. And if I go down, I'ma do it on my terms. And every single problem brings a lesson that I learned. The darkest nights, when things seem so broken, it's hard to shine, but I still try. I'll be the last one left when the lights go out. I'm down to one last breath, but I can't stop now. We all fall down sometimes, yeah, but that's just life. So cross my heart and hope to die. Baby, I was born to fight. That's right. Baby, I was born to fight. Yourself down a lonely road. I try to find my way but don't know where to go. It's hard to see your friends, tell them adios.
Hello, it is Tuesday the 8th and I am still only partway through Don't Let the Forest In and partway through Keep Me Close by R.M. Virtues. I have only managed to squeeze in a little bit of listening time and a little bit of reading time over the last couple of days. So far as Don't Let the Forest In goes, everything that happens in the summary has happened in the book so far. Andrew has followed Thomas into the forest and has seen the monsters, seen Thomas fighting the monsters, and is now decided that he's going to help Thomas with his monster fighting and figuring out what's going on, figuring out how to fix the problem. So I'm actually really glad that I ended up reading Don't Let the Forest In after reading Dead Girls Don't Dream, because I feel like this one may have had me putting off reading Dead Girls Don't Dream. It's simply because of how much more YA this book feels versus Dead Girls Don't Dream. Well, technically, Dead Girls Don't Dream is YA because our main character is a senior in high school and she's on that cusp of adulthood, whereas Don't Let the Forest In feels much younger, much more angsty. I usually don't mind angst so long as it doesn't get out of hand, and I don't think that this is out of hand, but I feel like maybe this is the wrong time for me to be reading it, so I may pause Don't Let the Forest In until I'm feeling more in tune with this kind of writing. I really do love the premise so far. I love the writing. It's very beautiful and descriptive and creepy. And so I don't want to read this when I am not in the right mood for it. So, like I said, I'm really glad I read Dead Girls Don't Dream first because that was absolutely a 5-star read and exactly what I wanted in that mood in that moment. I'm not sure what audiobook I'm going to stick with right now, but I am also struggling, unfortunately, with keep me close. And if I didn't love RM Virtues already from having read Drag Me Up, I think I might DNF Keep Me Close. So this is a romance between Hephaestus and Aphrodite, and it's set in the same world as Drag Me Up. This is the second book in the Gods of Hunger series. When Aphrodite is dealing with everyone else, she is kind and caring, and she is sassy and snappy, and she's fully herself, and she loves herself, and she's enjoying herself. Whenever she's around Hephaestus, something about him that she, in her own head, has not quantified, something sets off every insecurity and every rage button she has. And she just has these unreasonable bouts of like white hot rage wherever he's concerned. And she has said time and again that while she doesn't like him very much, she does trust him, and she trusts him implicitly. And I'm having a really hard time seeing how that correlates. I feel like it's possible, but I'm missing the piece that makes it make sense. Like, I need to see some sort of correlating fact from her past that makes her react to him the way that she does. Like, he is obviously very triggering to her, but she is not at all even thinking about what the source of that trigger is. Like, she's not correlating him back to a past lover. She's not saying that, I don't know, she associates him with maybe his father, who Zeus was the villain of the first book. And so it would be understandable if she would say, well, he is his father's son, and I don't think that, I don't know, like maybe she holds that against him, but she's dating his brother, which means that, you know, Ares, who is also the son of Zeus, so that's not it. And she's actually like seems to be in the process of breaking up with him. Like this is an ongoing slow death. That sounds horrible. It sounds like the worst breakup of all time. And I think that that's partly because they're not calling it a breakup. She's just telling him that she doesn't see a future with him, and he's pushing for a future with her. So it's like they won't break up. So that's kind of awful too. And I don't know. It's messy, and I'm okay with messy, but I need to understand why we're messy, and I need to understand where we're going, even if it's more mess. Like, as it stands, I don't see why anything would change. Like, they've shared their first kiss, and it was a contentious one that happened in at the height of an argument, and it really didn't make sense. I don't know. I feel like this is an attempt at enemies to lovers that's not working. And I'm having a hard time believing that I'm not going to love this book because of how much I loved Drag Me Up. So I'll probably give this at least to the 50% mark before I decide if I'm going to continue reading or DNF. But the possibility of a DNF is there. And that's really unfortunate because, like, that means that my two current reads are kind of not working for me. And it's not that, like, I'm in a slump or anything. I don't know. I don't think I necessarily need immediate change either, because I spent the weekend playing video games and watching movies with my husband. We went and saw Death of a Unicorn, which should be in the B-roll before this. That was a banger. I loved it. It made my unicorn-loving heart so happy. I have been obsessed with unicorns since I was a little girl. It's not like a subject that I have like pursued. Hello. Hi. Yes, hi. It's not a subject that I have pursued into adulthood. Ma'am, I love you, but come on. No kisses. So it's not something that like I've really pursued into adulthood, but like growing up, I was absolutely obsessed with unicorns. The first book I ever tried to write involved a unicorn. Actually, the first book I did write involved a unicorn. When I was in kindergarten, my cousin helped me write and illustrate a unicorn book. A book about a girl named Goldie Finger. I'm sure I lifted that from like Carmen Sandiego or something like that. One of those, or maybe Captain Planet. I don't know. It's one of those cartoons. And her friend who was a unicorn. And I don't remember the story at all, but I know that I drew the pictures and told my cousin the story, and she wrote down the words for me because I was in kindergarten. I couldn't do it myself yet. And like we stapled it and folded it and gave it a cover and a title and everything, and so that was the first book I ever wrote. I would love to find that. I don't know whatever happened to it. It probably is either gone in the trash or moldering away in my uncle's library or papers or something. I don't know. All I know is that he showed it to me once when I was a teenager, and it was hilarious, and then I never saw it again. Anyway, suffice it to say, I have a long history of loving unicorns, and Death of a Unicorn is like the most epic movie for somebody who grew up loving unicorns and ended up being really into horror, specifically horror movies, because it's like the perfect melding of unicorn lore and horror movies. Like, I loved it so much. The only really like thing that I didn't enjoy about it was, or that I could have enjoyed better, was if the dad, played by Paul Rudd, had either been worse or better. Instead, he's just really realistic. And so that's a little less entertaining. But like ultimately even that doesn't really bother me, because like I absolutely buy that that's a real person, or could be a real person. Anyway, if you haven't seen Death of a Unicorn and you love unicorns and horror, you absolutely must watch it. And if you just love one or the other, maybe you should probably watch it. I don't know. All I know is I loved it. I had a great time. And I'm sad that I'm not having the same kind of great time with my reads right now. So, I don't know. I think my next check-in, I will either have DNF'd my current reads and moved on to something else, or things will have picked up with Keep Me Close. I don't know. But you'll know in just a moment. It is Wednesday, and I have gotten to just past the 50% mark on Keep Me Close by RM Virtues. I'm still debating the DNF. I don't know. I'm probably gonna debate it until I finish it. So I'm probably not gonna DNF. But like, I love these characters and this story when they are apart or when they're banging. But anytime that they are having actual, like, interactions that don't involve banging, it's awful. I don't like it. I'm not having a good time. And either I missed it, or Aphrodite really is just hell-bent on not thinking the thought that says, this is why I don't trust him. This is why I trust him with my safety implicitly, and with my people and my whole world, just not my heart. Or, like, I can't like him. even though she keeps seeing and acknowledging reasons to like him and to trust him and to see him as a good person. But then she immediately follows that up with, but I've already decided he's not for me. Why? But why though? Give me a reason. Like, no reason has been given. I'm so frustrated with the relationship. Like, talking about it makes me want to DNF it. But like, when I'm reading it, I'm having a good time because the writing is good, because the characters are good, because all of the side characters are good. It's just the relationship that sucks. And that really blows. Like, I don't know. I'm not sure. This is a frustrating read. And I really don't want to end on this read. But like, it's Wednesday. We're hitting a week. This is where like live interactions would be helpful. You could tell me, read the book, don't read the book, read something else. Just end the vlog here. Instead, I have to make these choices for myself. That's just damn rude. Anyway, maybe I'll pick up a really short read to go with it and see if I can't finish both reads today. Tomorrow at the latest. See you in a moment when I have made that choice and am updating you. Hello, it is Thursday. And I have 2 book updates for you, and I'm going to close the vlog. So, first, I did end up finishing reading Keep Me Close by R.M. Virtues, the second book in the Gods of... Nix. The second book in the Gods of Hunger series. So, I ended up giving it a 2.75 because the last, I want to say, third of the book was much better than the first 2/3. However, they never really, truly, like, addressed why Aphrodite was so Jekyll and Hyde when it came to Hephaestus. She just finally gave in to the feelings she couldn't deny anymore and moved on with her life, which, you know, I guess is a perfectly good coping mechanism. Like, if you can just accept how you feel and move forward with your life, that's awesome. I'm happy for you. However, as this is a book, and I am reading this book, like, as a writing device, that doesn't work. Like, you're missing some steps, you're missing some background information, and it just really struck me in the I can't zone. But so much of the rest of the book was so good that, like, I ended up not DNFing it, and, like, I couldn't give it a terribly low rating, but I also couldn't give it a high rating, so I don't know. 2.75 is where I settled. Obviously, on Goodreads, I rounded up to a 3-star, but, like, 3-star felt a little high for how much of the book I spent frustrated. But, like, then I felt bad at, like, 2 or 2.5. And so, yeah, I don't know. We're going off feels here at this point. There's no science to it. But then I was still not sleepy, even though it was very late at night. So I ended up picking up the 3rd book in the Swallow Cove series by DJ Jameson. I just felt like after that frustrating of a read, I really needed something to cleanse my palate, so to speak, and kind of like get me back into the enjoying reading mode instead of the being frustrated mode. And So, and honestly, I think that this actually ended up being like, I don't know, proving my point about like enemies to lovers done wrong versus enemies to lovers done right. So in this book, hi, hello, I love you too. Knockin' Boats, we have Sawyer and Ash, who have this ongoing antagonistic relationship also, and they both couples work kind of like alongside each other but not with each other, and both couples find themselves in situations where they end up working together and being forced into proximity of one another for X amount of time. And both couples had like angry first kisses and antagonistic first kisses and first encounters, and like they really paralleled each other quite a lot in how their relationships developed. But the big difference was I understood why Sawyer and Ash had so much antagonism between them and had so much like animosity, and why they couldn't leave each other alone, and why they still felt so compelled towards one another despite their animosity. Whereas with Aphrodite and Hephaestus, it didn't make any sense. And like there are things and conversations that are said where you can kind of extrapolate the reasoning and the why and the how, but none of it really lands, and none of it is very clear, and the flow is not there. It's choppy. It's abrupt. Like Aphrodite goes from being a reasonable human being one moment to being this absolutely just white hot rage, unreasonable, nonsensical being for no reason. And it's never really satisfactorily, at least for me, explained. So, anyway, I thought that was kind of interesting that I happened to pick up a book right after the book that frustrated me, that paralleled the relationship so closely, but did it so much better, because there was an ebb and a flow, and the tension was maintained without there being any confusion or frustration on my part as to why we were behaving the way we were. Like, it all made sense. And there was no abruptness in the mood changes. There was a slight abruptness, but there was always like a building tension before something snapped, versus just la 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 pure rage. And so yeah. Anyway, I don't know if that made any sense. I did not give you any kind of synopsis for Knocking Boats. So with Knocking Boats, it is a story about childhood friends turned rivals turned enemies turned lovers kind of situation. So they grew up together, and when they hit about 15, one of them had to suddenly move away. His whole life imploded, and his family had to move away, really just across the lake to another town. But when you're a young teenager, it's a big change. And the only time they ever saw each other after that was when they would find themselves competing against each other in sports. The life imploding thing made Sawyer kind of push everybody away and curl in on himself. And when he came up for air, he had pushed his best friend away, he had pushed his ex-girlfriend away, and they had found comfort in each other, and he found that to be a major blow, and he was just crushed, and he just never got over it. And then as they grew up, they found themselves working for rival boat tour companies, and so whenever they would come across each other on the lake, they would exchange barbs And where this book opens up, Ash has left his stepfather's boating company and is now opening his own food boat, kind of like a food truck, but you know, on a lake. And he's partnering with the same resort that is partnering with Sawyer's boating company. So they're essentially kind of like co-workers without actually being technically co-workers. It's one of those like weird partnership kind of situations, but kind of like say somebody works for the bread company at Walmart that stocks the bread for Walmart, and somebody else works for the Pepsi company that stocks the Pepsi products for Walmart. And so they both work at Walmart together, but they don't work for Walmart, and they don't technically work together. They don't share any hierarchy. I don't know. That sounded a little more complex than it needed to be. I got lost in the weeds there. Sorry. Anyway, so they find themselves in really close proximity, and then one thing leads to another, and they end up having to spend an entire week working together on this food boat, and things escalate to where it's either kiss or throw somebody off a boat. In one instance, they did both. And so they keep kissing to shut each other up and to like cool down the animosity, and then through that they start to kind of resolve the feelings that they've been having for one another. They start to have conversations about it and about the past and figuring out if they can have a future. And it's really cute and I love it. And I am still kind of mulling over what I want to rate it as, but I think I'm probably going to settle at right around a 4. We'll see how I feel after I have given it a few hours to kind of marinate. But since I have just finished that, I thought this would be a really good stopping point for this vlog. So thanks for watching this video. If you got this far, please give me a boat emoji for knocking boats, or like a tree emoji for Dead Girls Don't Dream, just to let me know that you were here. And then if you are feeling chatty, let me know in the comments if you have any like tropes that you love or hate depending on how it's executed, or if you have any like specific books that you think are good examples of this. Let me know that in the comments too. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe if you want to, and I will see you next video.
Stars shining bright above me. Night breezes seem to whisper sycamore tree. Dream a little dreamer.
Welcome to my channel, The Bookish Valerie. Try that again. I don't even know what I'm saying. Does it matter? Let's keep going. Ma'am, what did that blanket do to you? Yes, there's a puppy on my lap. Yes, there is. Hello. Hi. Sorry. Anyway, Court of Wanderers. Is he doing Nala stomps? He's doing slow Nala stomps.
He does door stomps.